Hello, this is James Hunter, and I'm doing an update with my fitness in my 50 series, specific to body composition goals, kind of where I'm at. September 6th, 2 months ago, I decided to do an intervention with myself based on what I talk about as thresholds. I talk about that in this series. Basically, throughout my life, when I start to breach a certain threshold with how fat I'm getting as far as my waist, hip waist ratio, if you will, or just my body composition, gaining excess fat, or if you want to say a bit overweight, but it's really about excess fat and trying to stay within a standard that's acceptable for you. So I've always had a standard throughout my life that's helped me remain overall consistent. So in this video update, I'm going to show a video I shot Friday, November 3rd. I took a video before I was going to, actually after I lifted weights and before I was going to swim, did a little video of my shirt off and kind of similar, poses and stand in a similar way as in the baseline videos and other earlier videos throughout the series. After I swam, I went ahead and shot some more video again, right? Just to get a bit of a perspective where I'm at. Now, where I'm at, to be clear in this series, I have been on diets in the past that were specific to train for a bodybuilding contest. So those would be a bit more strict, if you will, or serious, because I was trying to get to, well, I'll put a photo right here, to this level of being ripped and lean for our competition, right? And I've been that lean in my 50s before, as recent as 2021, the last time I competed in an MPC bodybuilding contest, which is basically, bodybuilding and body composition type of a driven goal, right? Well, how lean you can be and muscularity, all that business. So I had a diet for that as a point. Now, what I'm doing right now is more geared towards staying within a reasonable, definitely leaner than the average person, of having lowered my body fat. I mean, I'm going to show some before and afters where I'm at right now. You can see my gut. I had a freaking bigger pooch belly going on. There was no definition around my stomach, and it was starting to get out of hand. And I've been fatter in my life before, in my 30s, other points in my life where I breached the threshold a bit too much. But as I've gotten older, I don't let it get far anymore, because it's easier to stay in shape or dial it back if you don't let yourself get too far gone as a point. So my goal right now is to stay within the range in this update where I'm at. I want to stay close to this. That's good enough for the rest of the year. We have Thanksgiving coming up. So of course I'm going to throw down on Thanksgiving, right? Of course. And then I'll be on track, still eating healthy, reasonable. And I'll speak to what I'm eating again in this video. Now, the December holidays, right? So yeah, I'm going to have some flexibility. So I'm not trying to get like super more, diced to the socks, as some people might say, or shredded going into holidays. I'm not even trying to compete or anything like that. So what I want to do is maintain the leanness I have right now for the rest of the year and stay close to it. It's good enough. Come January next year, if I decide to have a goal to get leaner than I am right now, maybe I might do it. I might. If there's a purpose or reason, maybe I try to compete sometime next year in the MPC Masters for classic physique. And why not do the Open too? Might as well, if you get in shape, do both categories. So maybe I might do that. And if I do that next year, all right, I'm going to dial it in a bit differently. It'll be a different situation. So what's good enough is what I want to talk about in this video. At 52 years old, where I'm at right now is plenty good enough, and I'm okay with that. I have a healthy relationship in terms of why I do the things I do, right? As far as my fitness and so on. I'm not doing this because I feel like I have to have it. It's just more of an exercise of discipline that I like to practice with myself, because it does help me stay focused when I have a goal. And that's, as part of doing this series, is to inspire myself, stay focused, and keep working at it your whole life, right? To feel inspired. The goals are good for us. So for myself, I just want to be healthy, fit, strong, and the whole measure of looking at a person's health, right? It's not just what we look like. So this is okay for me right now. I'm not going to try to get any more leaner than this for the rest of the year. So the next time I do an update for body composition will be next year. I'll do another update video, and I might be perhaps leaner than I am today. Maybe it's better. And so we'll see where we're at January, February, March, right? In the meantime, what I want to start working on is physical performance measures like horizontal power, broad jump, vertical jump, plyometric box jumps, which I was doing that when I began this series, but I pulled, had some calf muscle issues, right, with my straining the calf muscles. Some of you who run and do a lot of that, sometimes you may feel your calf like pop, right? So it's when you have a muscle strain or tear. So your soleus muscle, that area, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. Apparently, some of us take that area for advantage, take it for granted. We'll do a lot of calf presses with our legs straight. We don't have our knees bent as much. There's other things you can do, other exercises that you need to do, like seated calf presses. There's exercises where you kind of walk on your toes while your knees are bent, almost in a seated position, to help strengthen these other areas of the calf muscle systems. And so the gastrocnemius, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, all these pronunciations of some of these muscles, right? But a lot of us train that a lot with just, regular calf presses. You'll see people just with those machines, you stand up underneath them and do your calf presses. So I've done those throughout my life, but I haven't really, because I never needed to, right? When I was younger, I never had issues with my calves. So things become more salient as you get older. So in my 50s, I've incorporated different exercises I use for my rotator cuffs, that system of muscles for our shoulders, as preventative measures. My shoulders, thank goodness, are in good health. I'm bench pressing, flat bench press, dumbbells, free weights, the whole 9 yards. But I did have to make some adjustments when I started noticing, some issues going on there, some imbalances. So I never had that in my 40s, right? 40s is middle age. I never had it in my 40s. It's just what it is. Maybe in my 50s, for various things that happen as you get older, these things became, okay, this is necessary to do it now. So my calves, right? Strained my calves, never had that issue before so much in my earlier years. So I have to kind of do a reset. I started to run again after 2 or 3 weeks rest and thought it was good, but then I re-aggravated it. So I've decided to basically, the rest of the year, no running, I'm going to do swimming. I've gotten to where I'm doing jumping jacks again. I'm going to be strengthening my calves with all these exercises that physical therapy type exercises to strengthen the calves. A lot of good content here on YouTube for those exercises. So once I get the calves fully recovered and healed, then that's exactly what I'm going to start doing. What I said earlier, I'm going to start working on my horizontal power, vertical power, jump and agility, explosive power, because this is very important as you age, and it's associated with longevity, right? Mortality issues, and so on. Dr. Attila, I believe I'm saying his name correctly, he's mentioned, he has a book on longevity. He's talked about how important it is to maintain lean muscle mass, explosive power as you get older. So these will be things I'm going to be doing for myself because it's important. And then I'm going to, perhaps I will share it with other people in these videos. And so maybe this helps other people look at their situation. We're all different. So if you're someone in your 50s, maybe 60s, older, but start looking at yourself, right? Body composition. What are some reasonable performance measures you feel comfortable doing? And so on. And then, try to work at it. Get a baseline. How can you do better? You can always improve, right? So my goal in my 50s, I'm going to broad jump at least more than 9 feet. I believe I can do that, right? Maybe better. Vertical jump to 4 feet high in the air on a plyometric box again. I believe I can do that again too. I think it's at 48 inches, right? I think that's still in me. Still think I got some juice left in the tank. So these performance measures I'm going to be working on, maybe some 1 rep maxes, maybe the deadlift, power clean, squat. We'll see how it goes. The way I train these days, I train relatively heavy for a person of my body weight to get to still maintain the adaptations, right? Neuromuscular adaptations. So we'll see how it's going to go. Working towards that again. There's definitely going to be some performance physical measures that I'm going to challenge myself on, and it's just going to be a judgment call as I go. So that's what I'm going to be putting content on as far as things of measurement. So some of you who are watching this video, if you haven't seen the earlier videos in this series where I discuss my diet, and you want to know what I'm eating, what is my antidote to be 52 years old and staying this lean? Well, my approach is pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. A lot of times I do not eat breakfast. I may eat my first meal at 10 in the morning, or my first meal might be 12 noon. So I do a bit of a time restricted fasting. So basically what that means Yeah, I just don't eat within a certain window of time, So if my last meal is at 5 p.m. and I do not eat again to the next day to 10 a.m., right? So sometimes my window and the time restricted fasting, it might be 12 hours as much as 18 or 19 hours, a bit more, and so on. But when I do eat, I make it count. So my first meal might be a shoulder steak. That's red meat. It's reasonably lean. It's got fat on it too. And yeah, I just put some seasoned salt on it or seasonal. It's a brand at HEB in Corpus Christi, Texas, is where I buy my steaks, right? So I will then, maybe a little Worcestershire sauce. Pretty simple, tastes good to me. And I might throw in some Brussels sprouts, maybe some green beans, maybe broccoli, squash, right? So something like that. And I might even do a salad too. Why not? My other meals during the day, let's say I eat again at 3 o'clock p.m. It might be 2 chicken breasts. Chicken breasts, I can eat as many as 2. Again, I might throw some greens on there again to go with it. Pretty flexible for my situation. And then depending on where I'm at with my appetite for dinner, if I'm going to eat at 5 or 6, maybe, yeah, I might do fish, maybe lean ground turkey, something like that. Maybe I might just do cottage cheese and pineapples, right? Pineapple chunks, whole pineapple, not nothing out of a can. So it's very straightforward. It's not complicated. I'm very comfortable eating a lot of the same things in different combinations and getting creative with it. On Saturdays, I may have a flexible day where I will allow myself to eat some M&Ms, right? I like peanut chocolate covered shell M&Ms, right? Might eat some of those. I might also indulge myself in a little bit of pizza, maybe a cheeseburger from a Whataburger. That's a place here in Texas. Something like that. It's one meal on a Saturday. It's not going to kill me. And it's definitely not going to set me back. It's kind of like winning a football game by 6 touchdowns. It's the fourth quarter. There's 30 seconds on the clock, and the coach is going to let the third string quarterback go play, right? Get some play time. Yeah, they're going to win. They're not going to lose the game because he puts maybe the third string or second string quarterback in. The game's won. So it's similar like that. Once you're where you're at, you can afford a meal once a week. It's something that you normally don't eat. It's not going to set you back so long as you're balanced for the rest of the week. So the big thing I do, in my opinion, that's helping me is carb cycling. So I eat complex carbohydrates for sure. When you work out, it's beneficial to have that included in your diet. Now, depending on how I see my body responding in the mirror, like how I'm presenting with losing body fat, I adjust carb intake. It's not too complicated with myself. I don't measure and count calories anymore. I don't need to, because I can just eyeball the food in terms of my situation now, and I know it's going to work. What works for me? So white rice, sweet potato. That's it. Pretty simple. Maybe some oats, not instant oatmeal, just whole oats. That's it. Those are the staples of my complex carbohydrate intake. So I may take in either sweet potato, white rice, every third day, perhaps, based on how I'm feeling. If I need to fill back up more of some carbs, I eat them. I go based on my energy and strength. And if I'm feeling fine, I don't think I need it, then I may not have any at all, or maybe just a little bit. Other days I might throw down and just, eat 2 cups of rice, right? For example, just really go to town with it. So it's variable. It's a week by week adjustment. And I just go by the mirror, what I'm looking like, my results, strength, energy, fast, and how fast I want to get there. So for me, the steering wheel for either direction to get bigger, it's like bulk up, or get leaner, low body fat, is that the complex carbohydrate. That's it. It's not rocket science, nothing new. It's been known forever, right? You want to get lean, low body fat. You want a high protein to low carb ratio. You need to get your fats as well too, right? So I get the majority of my calories from protein and fat. The carbohydrate is definitely on the low end of that ratio, right? It's just very sparingly, or only as needed is probably a better way of saying it. So in my video series, if I have different topics, by the way, I've talked about TRT, HRT for people, men in their 50s, my thoughts and beliefs about it. 2, I talk about genetics and age for people who kind of discuss that. Sometimes how relevant is that? It is, but it's not the end all and everything, right? There's a context. And then I talk about the threshold, as I mentioned earlier, right? When is enough for you, right? Because fitness at any age, it's not about goals. It's about setting a standard, and then based on the standard and what you and how you place value on your fitness and health dictates and determines where you stay at with it. So I'm going to keep this video a bit shorter today, and because I'm going to be working on some other things in this channel too. This series is going to keep going, fitness in my 50s, right? It'll keep going. I'm going to be discussing other topics for the rest of the year about some health issues I want to discuss about for men in their 50s and so on. But I will be putting out other content. You will notice my channel. I talk about mental health stuff, other topics in general. It's a bit of a variety on here. So I appreciate you for watching this video. If you're the content or just the subjects that I discuss, if you watched some of my videos before and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd appreciate that. Perhaps you can like the video too. If you have any suggestions of something you might be interested in hearing discussed in a video and on any topic, whether it's mental health, addiction, recovery, physical health, right? Maybe some other issues, if you will, feel free to drop a suggestion below. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody's having a good weekend, and take care.